I'm coming up on 4 years of doing triathlon. I've been a swimmer my whole life, raced the first year of triathlon as an amateur, qualified for my professional license, and raced 2 years professionally in the triathlon industry. Here are 5 things I wish I knew when I first started triathlon. I don't think these are in any particular order. I've just had very hard lessons with these. The first thing is focusing on your nutrition and hydration. If you're watching this video, you're probably in the triathlon sport. Maybe doing Olympic, sprint distance, maybe even the Ironman and half Ironman distance. Triathlon is considered an endurance event. These events take hours to complete, especially the Ironman distance. Eating the necessary calories and drinking enough fluids in each training session is very important. If you're training lots of hours and you're falling behind on your fuel and hydration strategy, you're going to feel weaker, get sick, have injury, and all these things that pop up. I always thought from the beginning that you needed to be the lightest as possible, because when you get off the bike and you start the run, the lighter you are for the run, the faster you'll be. That is not true. A strong athlete is an athlete that consumes enough calories, drinks enough fluid in order to train at his or her best. If you're an Ironman, even a half Ironman triathlete, nutrition is considered the fourth sport of triathlon. You have swim, bike, run, and nutrition. A half Ironman for pros usually takes 3.5 hours, 4.5 hours, and the age group's a little bit more. For Ironman, it can range from 7, 8, 9, all the way to the 16, 17 hour mark. And in order to finish the race, there must be long hours per week of training. I myself have a plan set right now when I'm training 30 hours a week, making sure I get at least 100 grams of carbohydrates an hour and at least 25 to 30 hours of fluid ounces of sports drink whenever I do like a threshold or a tempo session. If it's on the easier side, it may be around that 22, 21 fluid ounces per 1 hour and 60 to 80 grams of carbohydrates for the easy session. So I have every of my workout mapped up in terms of my nutrition strategy. How intense is this? How many carbohydrates am I going to take? How much sodium am I going to take? How much fluid ounces am I going to take? This way I'm able to train my 30 hours a week of workout while continuing to progress, not get hungry, not feel weak during workout, and stay strong throughout the week. My second tip is getting the right gear. In triathlon, we have swim, bike, and run. There's 3 different sports we have to take care of, and we have to make sure that we're having the right gear for all 3 sports. I know it's a lot, it is 3 sports, it's very hard to keep track of 1 sport, and now we're triathletes, we're keeping track of 3 sports. So let me break it down: swim, bike, run. For swimming, of course you need a swimsuit. Depending on your swim level, it is possible to not use any equipment and just swim with your swimsuit and goggles. But some bonuses: I like to have my kickboard, my snorkel, my pool buoy with paddles. These are the equipment that I use almost every day to help my training. For the race, I either have a swim skin or a wetsuit. So depending on the water temperature, I wear a wetsuit when the water is cold and a swim skin when it's not legal to wear a wetsuit. But if you're a beginner starting out, if you have a triathlon kit and the water's not too cold, you could wear that for the swim. For the bike, I started with a road bike with the clip-on aero bars. The goal for me when I started out was to build my bike strength. I had no biking experience. I learned about my FTP, how much watts I can push, and just all these cycling knowledge that I've gained throughout the years. Before my first race, which happened to be a half Ironman, I did get a triathlon bike, the Cervelo P5. I got it 1 month before the race and got used to the aerodynamic position, but a road bike would be sufficient if you're just starting out and wanting to learn more about the cycling and the triathlon sport. Also, a really good bike fit. I'll go to like a local bike shop, pay some money and get your bike fit, see how far up or low your saddle has to go, and make sure that you get a second eye on your bike position so you don't really have anything going on, and making sure they check on your bike shoes as well. And the run, I do run in my carbon race shoes when it's on race day. Obviously you don't need that if you're starting out, but I would try to rotate at least 2 to 3 run shoes when you're running, depending on how much mile you're putting in on running. If you're running a lot of miles, I would really invest in getting a couple of run shoes so you can rotate them. So I have shoes, I have the Saucony Kinvara 14 for speed and track workout. They're a very lightweight shoe. The Saucony Endorphin Speed 2 for like my all-around, my long run, my easy runs, and then the Saucony Ride 15 for also my all-around shoes. So I kind of rotate them throughout the week. And then I would get a couple new pairs every 2 to 3 months based on my running mileage. Since I'm running a lot, I want to make sure that my shoes are good and in good condition. That way my feet are healthy and I can make sure that the run shoes are not the problem if I do get injured. My third tip is to join a triathlon community. Triathlon is a very individual sport. Sometimes it can get pretty lonely if you're training by yourself for a couple hours per week. It's always better and the time passes way faster when you're training with somebody else. That's why I'm very grateful that I've been a part of many triathlon communities throughout my years. I moved to Austin, Texas, Denver, Colorado, Phoenix, Arizona, Flagstaff, Arizona, Orange County, California, and now Oregon. Some ways you can find triathlon groups is go to Facebook and search up triathlon groups nearby. Also, another way is going on Strava and seeing different clubs around your area. Bike club, run club, swim club. Another thing is join just Swim Masters Club. Sometimes there's swim masters out there and they're just a group of people that's just swimming. You can join their group. There's just a bike only group where there's a bunch of bikers, cyclists riding in group rides. Those are good ones to do when building your bike. And then there's run clubs. So there can be a whole triathlon club, the swim, bike, run specific club only. Either way is fine, a good way to connect with other people around the area and make new friends. My fourth tip is focusing on your form. A lot of triathletes come into triathlon not knowing really how to swim. The swimming might be the toughest sport to master when you're starting out as an adult. Luckily, my parents put me in a swim program when I was 7 years old, and I started competitively swimming when I was 11 years old. So I've been swimming for more than a decade. But I know from other friends and teammates in triathlon the struggles of swimming and how it takes a lot of time to master this skill, because swimming is like unlike running. Running, anyone can pretty much pick up. You give it a couple weeks, a couple months. You're starting out, everyone kind of knows how to run. You're jogging, you're moving your arm, one stride at a time. Swimming is different because there is a very technique oriented. It's almost like an art and it takes years to master. So what I can say for swimming is that it does take time. Swimming with other people and getting a private lesson to have someone look at your stroke, analyze your stroke, and see where you can improve on with your technique is very important in swimming. And what I found with biking and running, that it takes time as well. Not as much as swimming, but there's just these small technique changes that I've found throughout the years. For example, on my bike, when doing big gear work, doing 50, 55 RPMs, revolution per minute, so that low cadence, learning how to use your glute muscles instead of like your knees. So really pushing down the pedals, not from your foot or your lower leg, but using the glutes and activating that muscle. An example for the run is how light I can be with my feet. The high cadence, about 190 for an aerobic run. This allows me to be economically efficient and have a fast and light feet. So these are just different forms and technique to think about, but over time you want to think about mastering a technique, sticking to it even when you're tired, and learn different ways to swim, bike, and run. The fifth and final advice is to have fun. I get it. Triathlon's a hard sport. You have 3 sports to juggle with. It's challenging. There are long hours. You're preparing for a race for weeks, even months at a time, and it's just a hard endurance sport. But I challenge you to embrace all the small achievements. Even during the workout, you hit every interval at this prescribed pace, prescribed power, prescribed effort level. I challenge you to celebrate that, because that's a win. You just got 1% better that day. I want you to embrace the journey, take on the obstacle, and at the end, it will all be rewarding, because this is what triathlon is about. No average human signs up and pays hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars if you put in travel, hotel fees, getting to the race, registration fee. No one pays thousands of dollars to suffer for hours and to get a medal and a finishing shirt. But we are here because we want something more in life. We want to challenge ourselves. And this is what triathlon is about. Taking the challenges, soak up your success, and most importantly, have fun. Thank you for letting me share my personal experiences and insights as a professional triathlete. I do have more behind the scenes content and bonus videos on my Patreon page, so if you'd like, you can check that out. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.